for your generosity in being here tonight. Everybody's busy, so I'm going to try to be a good steward of your time tonight and not have any tangents that aren't planned. So let's begin, if we could, with a prayer to start the year off. If you can read it, great. If you haven't memorized, that's better. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Most Sacred Heart of Jesus, rich in kindness to all who call upon you, I beg your blessings upon Bishop Ryan Catholic School. In the abundance of your immense generosity, provide for every spiritual and temporal need of our school. May your wisdom guide all teachers and administrators, your truth fill the minds of all students, and your love be present in the hearts of all who walk our halls. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Well, to get started tonight, first of all, thank you for being here, and thank you above all for giving us another opportunity to work with you as we help to educate your children. It's the most important responsibility given to anybody by God, is to educate their children, and for us to be given an opportunity to help you with that, to assist you in that by providing a solid Catholic education is a tremendous honor for us and a great responsibility that we take very seriously. The reason I wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to get together tonight again is I think it's really important for everybody to begin the year on the same page, to make sure that everybody understands kind of the basic guidelines, the basic ground rules and hopes for the year so that we can have a really great year. Begin just with our mission. Why do we do what we do? I don't think it's anything strange to say that we are living in a time in which family life and faith are both being more difficult to live fully. Family and faith, in each in their own way, are facing some difficulties and some obstacles. And so both of those things go together. And the reason this school exists is because we want to help parents to instill the faith, to provide an education that includes God and all that He has given to us in terms of His wisdom and His counsel. I think that the band is dying as we speak. Just pull the plug. Okay, thank you. Another one bites the dust. Gary, is that our budget? No, just to go back to what I was saying, faith and family are so closely connected, and if raising kids in today's world, we need every support and every help that we can to do that effectively in this world. So that's what the school is for. It's about providing an excellent education, religiously, intellectually, and humanly. And human formation is at the heart of what we do because, as St. Thomas teaches us, grace perfects nature. And so we need to pay close attention to the moral formation, the human, the emotional formation of our kids so that they develop the habits necessary to be successful long-term in life. So when we talk about serving God and His children by laying the foundation for lasting happiness through education and virtue, the education and virtue part is where the rubber hits the road. That's what really defines our educational model in all of its facets, and we do the best that we can to help you and support you in that in your own homes. To begin with tonight, one of the things that we've heard over the course of the last year and a half, 18 months, as we've been going through a strategic planning process, finished that process, collected a lot of information and data, and have begun to implement that, is that a lot of people didn't even know who our board members were. We have a board of directors that helps me to carry out everything that we need to do in order to make this school run effectively. They help me to make decisions. Actually, they tell me what to do. They're a policy-making board, so our board members tonight are here, and I'll just read, briefly who Bishop Kagan down in Bismarck is the chair of our board. As a Catholic school, we fall directly under the Diocese of Bismarck, so he's the chair of our board. Mrs. Mary Crow is our newly elected vice chair. Don Colombo, who is here. Don, can you raise your hand? Hi, Don. She's our Secretary Treasurer. Mr. Mike Christensen is also on the board. Can you raise your hand, Mike? Mr. Jared Lundeen, Mrs. Melissa Olson, and then a bunch of priests who are not able to be here tonight, except for Father Craig. The chaplain doesn't know that he can skip things like this yet. No, I told him that he had to be here. And so, on behalf of the board, I just invite Mrs. Mary Crow up to say a few words on behalf of the board about what they do and to just greet you on their behalf.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mary Crow. I just want to introduce myself as Bishop Brian alumni. I graduated in 1996. I also am the mother of 5 students here. My youngest just started in preschool, so that's exciting, right? And then obviously I'm a board member, and I've been on the board for just over a year. Okay. My biggest message tonight, which is really short, I know you'll appreciate that, is just to thank all of the parents who made the decision to send their children to Bishop Brian. Okay, it's a big decision, and I just want to thank all of you. I also want to thank, not all of them are here, but the teachers and the staff, because they are a big part of what makes each year a great experience for our kids. So I do want to just say thank you again to everybody, and I really hope we have a wonderful year. And Father said I had to talk longer than what I planned, by the way. I have about 5 sentences. But really, it's just to expand on what he said. What we do as a board is we sit around and we want to think as parents, we want to think as financial advisors, policy makers, and make the best decisions for our school. One thing that came out as Father brought up was that not everybody even knew who the board members were. We want to make sure that we are visible. We want to make sure that we are available to all parents, just for communication, just for ideas, things on what can make the school a better place. So we are all available to talk to if you have things you want to talk to us about. And that's pretty much all I have to say tonight. So let's just have an amazing year. Thank you.
Higher discounts. No lobbying during the meeting. Honestly, though, these folks put in a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that our school runs efficiently and effectively. So thank you to all of our board members. A couple of other key leaders. Oh, Father Crane, why don't you come up and just say 2 words? He's our new chaplain, and he's going to say a couple of words about himself so that you have an opportunity to know who our new chaplain is.
Thank you, Father. Is it on? Okay, there we go. My name is Father Gregory Crane. I was just ordained 2 months ago. I'm a brand new priest. I was ordained along with Father Brandon Wolf, who's also a graduate of Bishop Brian. So I've heard lots of great things about Bishop Brian over the years. The last few years, I was in seminary. I was in seminary with him for several years, also with Jacob Magnuson, who's a graduate from here. So I've heard great things about Bishop Brian. I myself, it's cool to be involved in Catholic education because I've been very impacted by it over the years. I'm from Elk River, Minnesota, originally, where I went to a public high school. But for college, I went to St. Thomas. And it was there, when I was involved in the Catholic Studies program, that I really started to see the depths of the truth of the faith and really started to get involved in our Catholic faith more and more, and that's when I started to think about the priesthood. Then, after graduating, I worked out at the University of Mary for 2 years for Monsignor Shea, and so saw firsthand kind of the power of Catholic education on young lives, saw what he was doing in transforming the university out there, and then I taught religion for 1 year at St. Mary's High School. So I've had a fair amount of involvement in Catholic education, and believe that it can have a huge impact on young lives. And so I'm excited to be here with all of your children, looking forward to the year, looking forward to their energy. School moves very quickly, feeling a lot during the school day, so I'm very tired after the first few days of school, but I'm looking forward to the year, so thank you.
Other key leaders that I want to just point out tonight and thank for all the work that they do would be our principals. Mrs. Tanya Steckler, elementary principal. Secondary principal. Mrs. Jamie Bruner, director of marketing and enrollment. Mrs. Marcy Kinnell, our manager of advancement services. And Mr. Steve Ripp, director of mission advancement. Virginia Marpicking, guidance counselor, and Mr. Roger Coleman, who's unable to be here, but he's our activities director, and so if your kids are in any activities, you've had a chance to meet Mr. Coleman. Okay, thank you. Also, you'll see some class ambassadors around or hear from them, especially if you're new parents to the school. The class ambassadors are a group of parents assigned to each class within the school, and they have and then some directors for each kind of section of the school with the purpose of reaching out and facilitating parent involvement within the school and helping the teachers to facilitate class-based initiatives. Excuse me, cat got my tongue there. And so if any of these people are here and they would just wave their hand, Chris and Lindsay Borgeson, Casey and Shannon Schmidt, Mark and Jessica Fitzpatrick, Tad and Jody Mars, Christian and Marion Sorum, Robert and Katie Schaefer, Justin and Tony Mako, Keith and Laura Ronberger, Dale and Jackie Plessis, Shane and Dana Zabak, Kyle and Eric Burt, Ralph and Sue Wilson, Stacy and Carla Abel, Stefan and Janae Ronning, Kelsey and Rebecca Fred, Rick and Andrea Hedberg, and Danny and Jolie Feist. So thanks to all of our class ambassadors. If they reach out to you, it's legitimate. You don't hang up on them, please. I've been getting robocalls like crazy. Am I the only one? Spam? It's unbelievable. Okay. Something to put on your calendar, please. I'm really excited. A couple of years ago, we started the Bishop Bryan Partner with Parents Initiative. It's in broad terms, basically what it is a description of ways in which we feel that we can help parents carry out the most noble thing that you can do in life, which is raise kids. And so one of the things that we're doing this year is we're bringing in Dr. Leonard Sachs, who is both a medical doctor and a PhD. He's written multiple New York Times best-selling books. A couple of them, Why Gender Matters, dealing with a medical approach to gender-specific education was really important for helping us to understand the learning differences between males and females, boys and girls. He wrote a couple of books called Boys Adrift and Girls on the Edge, talking about just the particular difficulties that adolescent and teenage boys and girls are facing in today's culture. And his latest one is called The Collapse of Parenting. He's going to be here on October 9th. You'll receive more information at Ann Nicole Nelson Hall. We're hoping to have a tremendous turnout to really tell the story about what we believe in and what we stand for here from an educational perspective at Bishop Bryan, and to give you guys some tools and some information to help you in your own lives as you're trying to raise kids in a very complicated world. So put that on your calendar. Great and exciting news tonight. Jamie's going to come and talk about this one. We have a new app. Yep.
This is the point in the year where my job in my office changes from welcoming all of you and welcoming all of you back to the school to being kind of the spreader of communication. And so in all of the strategic planning meetings that we had for the course of the last year, one of the things that we heard a lot was that I never know what's going on at the school. So we've been trying to come up with different ways to keep you all involved in the loop, tell you about all the awesome things going on at the school, tell you about ways that you can be here and be part of it. And so we are super excited tonight to unveil our new Bishop Ryan app. This was something that started about a year ago. We were hoping that the people who take care of our website would actually team with us on this, but they're not quite at the point in what they offer to be an app partner with us. So we didn't want to wait, so we kind of went crazy and made our own app. And if you go on the Google Play Store and you search for Bishop Ryan Catholic School, you will be able to download this app. For all of you Apple users, I have to apologize because we're still jumping through some of Apple's authentication hoops. So as soon as that's up, I will make sure I pass that word along to the Apple users so that you can get the app as well. This is a living, breathing monster. We hope it's a great tool for you. But that being said, if you see something or think of something that you think would be really useful on the app, we want you to tell us that. So please don't be afraid to reach out and say, hey, we could really use or hey, you know, that thing, that's not really useful, get rid of that. I want it to be a great tool for you and a great way for us to stay in touch with you. If you sign up as a user of the app, it also comes with a push notification portal that we can use. So if there was a thing, something like an emergency announcement we had to make and push out really fast, you would get that right on your phone as part of the push notifications that come with this app. If you have any questions on this, let me know. And also later on, tonight, maybe tomorrow, you will be getting our RenWeb guide, and that will walk you through, for those of you who are new to using RenWeb, how to log into RenWeb and how to access RenWeb, and then once you get in, kind of all the ways and means you can use that program to stay on top of grades, look at your lunch menus, stay on top of what's going on with the school. So again, if you ever have any questions on any of that stuff, you know where to find me.
Thanks for all the work that you did putting that app together, Jamie. One of the other features on there that I just want to bring your attention to is that I have a podcast called the Bishop Ryan Backstory. That podcast is becoming more conversational and less focused on teaching, although we'll probably do a little bit of both. If you go onto the app, you'll be able to hit a button and it'll bring you right to our podcast. A couple of weeks ago, I received a call from somebody who is in a different city, and she was relating a story to me about how one of the families that was here last year and got relocated to another city in which they have a Catholic school was bragging about how great Bishop Ryan was and the experience that they had and how they thought it should be a model of what Catholic schools are doing in the diocese. And it occurred to me in that moment that this is a message that needs to get out to the Minot community because it's not, being shouted from the rooftops enough. And so part of what I want to do with the podcast is to talk to people who are in our system, maybe even yourselves, or not collectively but individually. That would be an awkward podcast with 250 people. Anyway, sorry, I get off on tangents. To talk to see what your experience of Bishop Ryan has been like, and be able to explain and articulate to people the good things that are going on in the system. So look for the Bishop Ryan backstory on the app for information about what's going on in our school and a deeper understanding of the good things going on. Okay, switching gears a little bit from news to a higher level, important discussion about what we're doing in terms of mission advancement. When you think about what it takes to make a school like this effective, obviously you have to have a good product. You have to have something that is worthy of the sacrifice that parents make in order to send their children here. You have to have a value proposition worth buying. And at the heart of that value proposition is obviously the educational experience of the children. But in order to make that happen, there's a lot of other things that need to be working right. For example, we have to have our parishes on board in town, which we do. So our parishes provide a significant investment into our annual budget annually from their collections at the parishes. This helps us to keep tuition affordable and to be able to provide a budget that takes care of our needs and is effective, but also gets the job done in terms of what we need. But that doesn't take care of everything. So on top of that, we have tuition, and then we have what would be traditionally called fundraising. The model back in the day was such that you had a collection of fundraisers throughout the year to kind of bridge the gap. Partners in Mission, if you remember them, helped us with our strategic plan. They're a firm, national firm that helps Catholic schools throughout the nation to make a real shift in their philosophy towards advancement within the school, to take them out of a particular model that we've been used to for a long time to become more effective in today's day and age based upon a kind of collegiate model of advancement that is more effective long term and helps us to really allow us to excel through creation of new revenue streams or increasing our fundraising revenue. So currently, we have Mr. Chris Stiles working with Steve, our Director of Mission Advancement, to kind of revamp the way that we're approaching some things within our school in terms of fundraising, as we traditionally call it. So I want to ask Steve to come up here and say a few words about what that transition looks like, what's going on, and what we can concretely expect from it.
Thanks, Father. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Lipp. I'm a 1986 Bishop Bryan alumnus. I come from a long family of Bishop Bryan alumni, including my 3 children who have graduated from Bishop Bryan. In fact, they were in the system pre-K through 12. So just like you, I was a parent through thick and thin. I just want to briefly explain kind of what most people think of as fundraising and what our model has been from the beginning of time, basically, and that has been transactional fundraising. I want to thank all of you who have helped in this tremendous endeavor over the years. It has been effective. We've been able to do the things we need to do through various fundraisers, from selling cookie dough to pizzas to you name it. This school has done it over the last 100 years. But as that budget grows and the needs grow, it really becomes very difficult to utilize that type of transactional fundraising. So really, a couple years ago, Father and I were in Boston for the Partners in Mission Conference for a week. And then last year I was able to take part in the first ever University of Mary developed a Catholic philanthropy graduate course for the summer, and so I was able to take part in that. And really what we've learned is that people really have a need to give. And so it's really going out and telling our story, which is a great story, right? We can all do that. And then it's asking them to be involved in our mission through philanthropic giving. Right? Buying into the mission, partaking in the mission because they believe what we're doing as a school and not that it's just a transaction. We have alumni all over the world that we can reach out to, and so it's unlimited as to how we can do this. And so going forward, really, we're still going to have our events, we're still going to have gala, we're going to have these things that develop community and engagement. But we're going to start focusing more on our Fund for Bishop Bryan and how that works, creating a culture of giving within the school, within our community, telling our businesses, telling our families, our parishioners, our parents of alumni, the great things that are happening at Bishop Bryan and how they can be involved. And so, yeah, don't be afraid. Get out there and tell the story. And people want to hear it. They want to buy in. And so, we're going to be rebranding what we used to call the annual fund into the Bishop Bryan Fund. And so I look forward to meeting and working with a lot of you to develop the fund going forward. So, thank you.
Along with the Bishop Bryan Fund, which Steve spoke about, one of the things Chris did was he came in and he did what you would call an audit of our whole fundraising calendar. As we're going through this capital campaign as well, we're in the beginning stages of a capital campaign to help fund the needs for our strategic plan, to make our strategic plan effective. And so we're kind of doing both of these things simultaneously. He helped us to do an audit of our whole advancement calendar and to look at the way in which we are spending our resources in terms of time, energy, cash, and really focus in on doing what we need to do to make it possible for Steve and for the rest of our advancement team to make this fund successful. Basically, mission advancement, if you look at the school, mission advancement makes our school possible, makes living our mission, which is the whole educational process, successful, and then the whole purpose for what we're doing is to be able to rejoice in the successes of our kids and our graduates as they go on and start lives of their own and become successful in whatever God's calling them to do. If I ask everybody in here tonight, how was the summer? I have a feeling that a lot of you would say, busy. Busy. Where did it go, Father? I don't know. Many of us today, for various reasons that I'm not going to get into, feel like time is just bearing down upon us and pushing us through life in a way that is frenetic. The pace of life that many of us are managing, coping with on a daily basis is a lot. You being here tonight, you're feeling it. You were at work today, etc., and it's like, okay, I need to get home. I got to put the kids to bed, etc. So I'm moving on from the time thing. But we all feel it, right? So one of the key things that that Chris pointed out to us in our advancement calendar was we have a lot of events that are very labor intensive. The key or biggest event that has taken over 1,400 hours of volunteer service to pull off annually is the Bishop Bryant Carnival. When we think about the purpose of that carnival, it's been very successful insofar as it's capable of being successful as a transactional fundraiser that builds a little bit of community and brings some excitement to the building. It's also deeply exhausting and has a limited capacity to grow in terms of the number of dollars that can be generated through it or the number of relationships built as a result of it. And so the decision was made after some consultation with our board, with our finance council, with Chris Stiles at Partners in Mission, and amongst ourselves with Steve, and Jamie, and Marcy, that we're going to be moving away from the carnival in order to make room for, in our advancement calendar, an emphasis on the Bishop Bryant Fund and on the capital campaign. Right? All of us know that you can't do everything, and that we need to really prioritize and think about how we can go about being as successful as possible within the school community in the smartest way, respecting the limited resources of time and energy and dollars that everybody has. So as a result of that, one of the things that is changing this year is our volunteer requirements. One of the reasons that we needed 20 hours of volunteer was 20, right? 20 hours per family of volunteer service per year was because initially, years ago, right, we had the Host Fest, that we were getting like $1.18 an hour for that, cut. Not because the Host Fest is bad, but because I just can't do any more triage on volunteer hours. It was just like, it was so exhausting for our volunteers, our parents, you. So we backed off of the Host Fest coffee cups. Looking at the Bishop Bryant Carnival, the mandatory time spent in the carnival, which was very helpful to make it successful. We had a successful carnival, but that was so labor intensive that we thought that if we pull back from this, we're going to be able to free up time within Steve's schedule, Jamie's schedule, the rest of our volunteer schedule to reallocate our resources otherwise and to give you guys a little bit of breathing room. So, does that make sense? Okay? As a result of this, when Steve reaches out to you about the Bishop Bryant Fund to help as Partners Leadership Committee to tell the story about what we're doing, I just really ask that you take this with the seriousness that it needs, because this needs to become the backbone of our fundraising and Bishop Bryant Fund. Okay? This is in your handbook, so you can read it for yourself in terms of the new parent volunteer program. Okay, moving away from there to another kind of news thing. One of the ways you can fulfill your volunteer hours for this year is through concessions. This has been, trying to figure out concessions for me, you know, something so small, but it is like been the bane of my existence, trying to figure out what the right thing to do with concessions is. So what am I doing? What are we doing? We're giving the concessions back to the students to use to pay for their class funds. So students that work get a portion of the proceeds from the concessions for their class funds to help them pay for prom or homecoming week or whatever they need within their class over and above, you know, for student activities. Parents can fulfill their volunteer hours through signing up on Sign Up Genius to take a shift. The shifts are all there, and then you self-report those, right? You self-report the volunteer hours. It's pretty simple, but if you could just consider, you know, using this as a way to fulfill your volunteer hours, it would be really helpful. Directions are there. If you have any questions, we'll, you know, obviously help you to make sure that you know what you're doing in the concessions. So that's new for this year, concessions. What else do we have to talk about? Last. Okay. Should you have any free time because you're not working the carnival, next October, we're taking a pilgrimage to France with Bishop Ryan alumni and friends. So if you yourself are interested in going on a 10-day beautiful pilgrimage, I'll be leading it along with Father Justin. We currently have 50 people signed up. We're going to be seeing the holy sites, including Lourdes. We're going to be going to the Palace of the Popes in Avignon, seeing an 11th century Benedictine monastery, having a wine tasting in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, going to the place where the Sacred Heart devotion was revealed to St. Margaret Mary Alacoque, seeing the incorruptible St. Bernadette. I've been there. Nevers, France. She's been dead since the French Revolution. And she looks like she's taking a nap. I kid you not. I'll tell you the story when you come on the pilgrimage, the whole story, but she's an incorruptible saint. And so if this is something that's on your bucket list, or you know somebody that might be interested, maybe your parents, maybe friends, we have information on the table for you to grab there. We have limited space available. We've already got 50 people signed up, and we only have about 20 spots left. So if you're interested, you got to kind of be seriously thinking about it. Okay, I think that's it. Again, just thank you for everything that you do to help the school be as great as it is. We're looking forward to a tremendous year. If you have any questions after, please come and see me. I'll stand around and you can ask me whatever you want. But thank you for being here tonight.